Hey everyone, this is Scott from Forgot to Grow. Welcome to our The Mandalorian Chapter 7 Thoughts video. I just finished watching the most recent episode of The Mandalorian on Disney+, and I'm going to be sharing my general thoughts on the episode. I will be going into spoilers on this episode, so if you haven't seen it yet, you probably don't want to be checking out this video. But yeah, so I just finished watching this most recent episode. In this episode, we see that Cargo, so that's Carl Weathers, or Karga, Carl Weathers' character sends a message to Mando, offering kind of a truce kind of situation in which the two of them team up to kill the client from the beginning who's been hunting down Mando and the baby this whole time. And so yeah, this episode you kind of start off and you're like, okay, this sounds like a trap, but at the same time, does Mando really have any other option? His options are to keep running from planet to planet, keep being chased down, or he can, try and stop the problem. And so that's what this episode's all about. And I really enjoyed this. This episode was, I don't want to say it was expected, but I did kind of suspect, I should say, that an episode like this was going to happen, especially since we only got such brief appearances from some of the guest stars in the first few episodes, and I thought maybe that was just the storytelling they were going to go with. But it was kind of cool also that those were also ways of them setting it up for this episode, which is Mando gets this offer and decides, okay, I need some backup for this, and he goes recruits Cara Dune, who we find fighting in a bar, kicking some butt as she always does, and so she decides to join Mando and helping him kind of end this problem, helping protect the kid, and then he also recruits, I believe we didn't learn this guy's name before. This is the I Have Spoken guy's name, which was Queel. I'm not sure if I heard it right. But yeah, so he gets recruited to help watch Baby Yoda while Mando and Cara are dealing with the stuff. And we also find out when he's recruiting him that he had repaired IG-11, which I like as a little fun thing. When the first episode happened and we learned about the fate of IG-11 in that episode, we were like, oh, okay, it's just one episode. He's not coming back. I didn't even think the fact that he can be repaired. He's a robot. Of course he could come back. So that was a fun little tie to first kind of tying back to the first episode as going to meet Kurl again and Wheel again, and so then seeing IG-11 and still seeing Mando's distrust, which is like, yeah, this guy, the guy tried to kill the baby. He's programmed to kill the baby, and he's like, well, I pre-programmed him. And it's like, but he's a kill bot. That's what he does. And so I'm a little bit on Mando's side on this, but I also am like, yeah, trust that guy. So yeah, that was just, I really like that the premise behind this episode of him having to kind of finally confront this problem that's been kind of chasing him across the galaxy so far, and B, him kind of going and getting the few people he's met who he trusts, either not just trust but also trust in their abilities to be able to help protect him and Baby Yoda. So I really like just the concept of just as soon as it started off and you kind of start seeing him starting to recruit Cara, you're like, okay, I see where this is going. I did kind of expect maybe he was going to go get like the mechanic to watch her or something. I was curious to see who exactly he picked, and it was a pretty small team, but that makes sense too. We didn't meet that many people this season. But yeah, so I really like that we get the team together to go deal with this. We'll try to finally resolve this issue with the client guy who's trying to hunt down Mando and the baby. Yeah, so some of the other cool stuff during this episode that I really enjoy was we get a few little things while they're on their way to go deal with this problem. At one point we see Baby Yoda force chokes Cara, and I'm like, wait, what? Because her and Cara, so first Mando and Cara are doing a little arm wrestling, and Baby Yoda's looking over just kind of curious, and then all of a sudden Baby Yoda puts up his hand, and you're like, oh, is Baby Yoda going to try and help one of them win? Okay, that's kind of cute. And then he starts force choking Cara, and I'm like, what? What? I did not see that coming. It was cool. Like, I think I reacted like Mando, which was like, wait, no, we don't do that. She's a friend. What? And so that was very just kind of like, whew. But I do love that they throw some more Force stuff in that part. And that, I don't love that he Force choked her in particular, but it did, I guess, make a little sense. She's being a little threatening in that scenario. The baby misread something. Yeah, he's only 50 years old. Yeah, so that was interesting to see. We see Mando eventually in the team meet up with Karga, who has a couple bounty hunters with him, and you're getting the vibe this is a trap right off the bat, but Mando's got his guys, to back him up, and at one point they all get attacked by these flying creatures in the middle of the night, and you're like, okay, I did not expect this to come either, but it also makes sense. There's a lot of monster attacks in this season, which I love. Like, it's just gives an excuse to see these guys fight something, and so that was an interesting one, despite us losing one of Quill's thing. I can't remember the name of those beasts that they were running around on little things that look like walking tadpoles. I can't remember their names. But yeah, so these flying creatures attack, and during that we see Karga get injured, and that you're like, oh, okay, what's gonna happen with? And then you see Baby Yoda walking over, and this was something that kind of faked me out before. I thought he was gonna do this earlier in the season at one point, which was force heal, but then he does it in this one. And I'm like, Baby Yoda got force heal. I was just, I literally had that exact reaction. I just loved it. It was great. I love that that's now part of Star Wars canon. I don't know if it was officially before. I haven't read everything canon related, but it has definitely not been in a movie before. This is technically a TV show though. But that being said, I don't think it ever popped up in the Clone Wars or Rebels, any force healing from my memory at least. But if you guys remember any force healing that happened in the current Star Wars canon, be sure to let me know in the comments below. But yeah, that was a really cool addition to see little Baby Yoda be able to do that, and then that changes Karga's mind, who ends up turning on his own men the next morning, who were originally going to take out Mando so that they could return the kid to the client and get this all done with. But then, the baby saved him, so he's just like, okay, I can't go turn the baby in after it saved me. So I like that he had that turn, because that's a legit turn. Like, a baby saves your life, you're like, okay, I can't be as much of a dick. I like that he's got a little bit of a principle there, despite the fact that he shoots his own men who he hired in order to do that. But anyways, the point is, I like that he changed his mind and decided to get on board with it, and that they try to still go about the pretty much the original plan that he proposed to Mando, that to bring him here, the thing to lure Mando there. So they did try to go through with that plan, and they end up at the client, and some stuff goes down. So they go in, they're pretty much playing the Wookiee trick. I didn't even think of that at the time, but they're playing the Wookiee prisoner trick, which in this case it's the Mando prisoner trick, and so they got Mando in handcuffs. They're bringing him to the client, and then the client gets a call from the guy from Breaking Bad, whose name I'm not even going to try and butcher. But yeah, so we see he gets a call, and he's from his superior, who's a Grand Moff, I believe he referred to him as. I didn't catch the last part of his name. When I looked on IMDb, I didn't see his name listed either. But that being said, that Grand Moff turns on him and just blows the client and the whole base away with a bunch of blaster fire. Luckily, the team's able to take some cover, and Baby Yoda was off with Krill. Yeah, I didn't see that coming. The guy turned on his own person, but then we see it's just it's a squadron of Death Troopers, I believe it was, and then a whole shit ton of Stormtroopers show up behind them, and that guy's like, hey, and give me my baby. And we're like, oh snap, and we're watching. At the same time, Mando pulls kind of I don't want to say a rookie mistake, but something I at least know, which is, if you're going to talk on the radio, you got to make sure you're on a special channel. You got to have some kind of secret channel so that the bad guys can't hear your messages to one another, because the bad guys do. And a couple scout trooper guys go after Karan the baby, and this ends in a way I didn't want it to end. Baby got taken, and he's dead. He looks dead, and I'm like, well, that Baby Yoda doesn't look dead. The other guy looks dead, and I'm like, I didn't want this. And then we end on a cliffhanger, which is the first technical, I believe, cliffhanger of this season. Every other episode kind of ended a little bit more neatly than this one, which is, we're like, well, Baby Yoda's been taken. They're stuck there, and they do this just before the new Star Wars comes out too. So it's like, yeah, now I gotta wait a week and a half before the next episode comes out. But oh yes, this was a great episode. This might have been my favorite episode of the season so far. I just really enjoyed it. I've talked about it the longest, I think, of all the episodes so far. It was a lot of recapping of what happened, obviously, but those that's what was good about it was the stuff that happened in it. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this episode, and what like pretty much thought it was one of, like I said, one of the better episodes of the season. All the episodes I've really, really enjoyed, but this one I felt had the most. It's because it had the most Star Wars stuff. You know, we got a bunch of Force stuff. We got a bunch of stormtroopers. We see a TIE fighter. Of course, I'm gonna love this episode. But yeah, that's all my thoughts on this episode of The Mandalorian. Be sure to let me know in the comments below what you guys thought about this one. Were you guys as over the top about it as I was? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for joining me today. Sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and have a good one.